Welcome to today's video where we're talking about how to gain confidence in wearing what you want. Confidence plays a huge part in getting dressed every day. For some of us, that comes really easy, getting dressed every day and feeling completely 100% confident. And for others, it definitely doesn't come that easy. I also think there's a learning curve through the whole thing. We obviously want to get to the highest point of our self-expression because that literally frees your spirit. Feeling like your clothes are emulating a part of yourself. I know as a creative, it scratches the same itch as I think it would for, a medium artist to create outfits and finding new things that emulate different forms of my personal self-expression. I'm gonna share my little tips and tricks. I've got a double-sided page. I journaled it out for y'all. I'm like starting to really sweat, but I don't want to take this off. Your personal style should be something you're somewhat drawn to, like patterns, colors, textures, silhouettes. And I have a whole video on personal style that you can watch before this video and kind of help contextualize all of this, and then you can kind of move into these steps of gaining the confidence to actually wear what's in your personal style. Step number one, we're gonna call this the change one thing method. Don't have a cooler name for it, so that's what we're going with. So basically, you're gonna take an outfit you're comfortable in, and I want you to kind of analyze what these outfits are that are comfortable for you and change one thing about them. We're talking about the change one thing method, okay? A really common outfit formula I'll do is a baggy jean. I wear these jeans all the time, and I'll usually do some type of baby tee. I know this is something I'm comfortable in. If I wanna level it up, there are several things we can do. Maybe our goal is to go for pop of color self-expression business. I can lose this belt. If color was out of my comfort zone, this would be a great thing to try because it's super small. It gives you that pop of color and it really changes the whole personality of the outfit. I love this belt. So here's your example. Easy, simple. Let's scratch the belt. Still love a baggy jean, still love a baby tee. We want to change one thing but not the belt. In that situation, I can push myself a little bit outside my comfort zone they have some different detail that give it a little more personality. This would be a great little baby step, kind of building, I don't know, a streetwear 90s element to my personal style. You can also add something to the outfit. So if this is something I'm comfortable in, maybe I want to introduce something like a cardigan. There's also versatility in like buttoning it up. This outfit has a whole new vibe. Let's say we like the baggy pant. We're liking what's going on up here. We feel comfortable. We want to change one thing. We can change our baggy pant to something patterned. So this is an entirely new outfit. Definitely feel comfortable in something that feels a little bit familiar. Next example, we're starting with this base. Pretty similar to the last one, but we're gonna have a completely different destination. So that's what I'm saying. You really want to identify what makes you feel comfortable, good items to invest in your closet, and you can build from there. I always wear this look. It feels good, but I want to elevate it. Maybe I want to make it feel a little more feminine. We can add a little boot or a little heel. Here you go. Definitely gives it that little feminine touch. It gives badass. It feels like a little more high fashion-esque, or like, you're juxtaposing a feminine shoe with a more masculine baggy pant. Lastly, like I was saying, I have this red bag for my little pop of color moment, and I think red goes with a lot of neutrals, which is why I invest in the color red, but I also think it looks good on me. Even something like this is a pretty neutral outfit. You could add a pop of color with a bag, with a jacket, and I feel like the color helps you express, your aesthetic, your style, your vibe, your personality. Ta-da! Time with any of these things make it better, so the more times you wear something new, the less it feels scary, and we'll get to that. So in general, the kind of change one thing method, I feel like is a really good first baby step because the rest of your outfit should be what's grounding you. So then I have a little bit more confidence to wear one thing that is pushing me outside that comfort zone. To continue growing using the change one thing method, I think maybe it would help to get to a point of changing maybe 2 or 3 things that are in line with your goal of personal style or self-expression. Baby steps make all of it less scary instead of changing your entire appearance overnight and being like, hey guys, this is how I feel, like most creatively self-expression. So yeah, makeover. I know for me, one of the things that I used the change one thing method for was with hats. Like I would take an outfit I was already comfortable with and then add a hat. I did start cycling in a few hats, and I've gotten to a point where I'm pretty comfortable with them, but I don't wear them all the time. It's just to spice things up sometimes. People will adjust around you and you'll adjust yourself as to be like, oh, I wear this all the time. Like this is part of my wardrobe, this is part of my closet. The bottom line of this all is trying to take other people's perceptions out of your journey of self-expression, expressing yourself via outfits. Next topic here is identifying your insecurities, but just territory that feels uncomfortable, whether that's wearing bodycon, and that's something you want to do, whether it's wearing color. It's important to identify those insecurities in an area where you wish to grow. And it's about repairing your relationship with that insecurity, whether it's a part of your body or a style or fit of clothing that you're not necessarily comfortable with. First step, you gotta figure out why you're feeling insecure. Do you feel like when you wear high heels, all the clacking draws attention? Wearing too much color makes you stand out? If wearing heels is something you want, but you're really not comfortable with the attention that the clacking heels make, you have to gauge how important that is. Do you want to work towards wearing heels and not caring? Or do you care more about your, privacy and feeling safer blending in than standing out? You have to weigh those desires and figure out kind of what insecurities are stopping you from achieving that personal style. It's really about weaning yourself onto something, like you would with anything. I think essentially this directly translates to exposure therapy. So you're essentially exposing yourself to this insecurity or this thing that's making you anxious wearing. With time, you're building up familiarity and confidence with said thing. To practice exposure therapy, you're just gonna have to start somewhere, wherever that is most comfortable for you. If we're using the example of heels, it's start wearing the heels around your house, etc., and moving up. And I think an example of this for me in my personal life was in high school. High-waisted jeans started to become kind of popular, and traditionally I had worn low-rise jeans with longer shirts. I didn't really wear anything too fitted, so my whole entire torso, it was just a blouse or a cardigan. That's what I felt comfortable with. So when high-waisted jeans started to become popular, I was like, oh my god. I didn't think of high-waisted jeans hiding my stomach or anything. I thought of it as bodycon, accentuating. I was like, if I wear high-waisted jeans, my whole waist, hips, my body figure is outlined and it's right there on display. I was so terrified of that. I did want to wear them. So what I did for building myself up the confidence to wear high-waisted jeans in public, I would wear high-waisted jeans and then a big oversized sweater, or high-waisted jeans and a jacket over it, so you weren't seeing that waist area that I wasn't comfortable with. But what wearing high-waisted jeans in general was doing for me was getting my body acquainted and comfortable with the feeling of fabric touching that area or hugging it. And then eventually I was able to build up the confidence to wear a crop top or whatever other shirt that I thought was my personal style at the time. But obviously I've come full circle and I'm back on my low-rise wave, and I feel like I was just a little lost soul then, and I was trying to do what everybody else did. But it still worked in the way of exposure therapy, and I'm sure you can find an example where that can apply to your own life. Going off the exposure therapy and getting comfortable wearing something in private or around your house, we now want to move that into kind of a public setting to kind of build up to wearing it naturally and in your everyday style in life. Maybe we wear it on quick little outings, so it doesn't feel like an extreme commitment or where you would be out and completely break down about wearing this thing. Maybe you wear it to go to a quick outing to the post office or something, where it's completely around strangers, not around your peers. You're doing a quick activity, no one's really looking at you, you're just getting comfortable with the idea of wearing something whatever it is in public. But I think what's important with whatever public place you choose to go is a place where you're not directly surrounded by your peers, people that you know, whether that's school or the workplace or something, because essentially that's what's holding us back from achieving this personal style in the first place. Is we're worried kind of what people are thinking. We're trying to build a new version of ourselves. So you want to go to a place where there are strangers. They don't have any information on past you. And I think that's kind of hard because you can wear an outfit that's so not you and go into a place and feel like a total fraud, where you're they have to know this is my first time wearing this and I look like a total bozo. But they have no idea who you are. Maybe they see you and they're like, wow, she's so confident, she's so eccentric, look at her wearing that, and they have no idea that's your first time wearing it. So I think it's really important to take that step of first kind of wearing it around people you have no idea who they are in a public place, and that will kind of bridge you to the next experience of starting to wear it around your peers. This next category is vision board and thrifting. This category is more for people that it's not a challenge to wear what's already in your closet, but it's a challenge to get to a new point of personal style. It's kind of a gap between what you have in your closet now and where you're aiming to go. There's some gray space of you kind of need to build what this new wardrobe is going to look like in the first place. I think what's important for that is vision board, but it's kind of like a slippery slope, because if you go on Pinterest and these other outfit inspo apps, I feel like we're way more susceptible to see something and A, want to initially copy the outfit head to toe, B, kind of get lost in the trends. It's harder to decipher whether that is a part of your personal style or not. I would advise you do, before going on these vision board apps like Pinterest, is to kind of journal and jot down what you feel like are elements of your personal style. So when you do go to Pinterest or whatever, you're pinning things that are in line with what you wrote down before you looked at any photos. If you're feeling lost in guidance on that journaling part. In my last video in this series on finding your personal style, I list all the things that you should kind of look for, and that will give you some direction. But anyways, once you get to the shopping part, obviously I always recommend thrifting over anything. I feel like thrifting is different from any other type of shopping because you're taken out of the marketing aspect. If you go online to these retail stores, if you go in person to these retail stores, you cannot avoid the marketing. You're seeing a mannequin in an outfit. You're seeing all the store laid out in like a color pattern of the colors trending this season. Like, you just can't escape it, and I really feel like it skews your perception of what you should buy. But when you're shopping at a thrift store in that environment where everything's jumbled together, there's no marketing whatsoever, it's really up to you and your eye and what you're drawn to figure out what's coming home with you. Whether you buy things or not from the thrift store, I think it's really good to get acquainted with your eye for style in a situation where you're kind of like playing I Spy and picking out what you think is good from a pile of not so good. And it's not super end of the world if you try a new style that you found from the thrift store and it didn't work out. The last two categories here kind of go off a little bit from what we've already talked about, but I just want to go into a little bit of more detail. So I want you to look at old pictures of yourself. I want you to analyze what you liked then, as a kid, as a teen, as an adult, whether you were drawn to certain colors, certain styles. Obviously, the things you're wearing as a kid or a teen may not be in style now. You can kind of get a sense of what themes over time you have been drawn to. You can take elements from the past of what you were drawn to, what you were comfortable with, and apply it in a modern day. I know, I've always been drawn to gingham, and you can see that, and naturally, without even knowing, I still own a very similar gingham dress. I'm drawn to that kind of fabric and style and pattern. Hopefully that gives you a sense of comfort in feeling like it is part of your true self. Another example of this is you look back in like college. I mean, I was a little Brandy Melville whore. But even back in college, you can see I was in love with a striped pant. I always wore a striped pant. Even though those pants aren't necessarily in style anymore, I found new ways to incorporate a striped pant into my style now. And look at right now, guess who's wearing a striped pant? Me. Is it a pajama? Yes, but I do have striped pants that aren't pajamas. So it's really good to reflect upon that, and that can kind of give you a little bit of clarity and comfort curating this personal style. Lastly, I guess this is kind of like duh. Sometimes it's the little things that count, okay? I think adding a personal touch that seems so signature to you in an outfit that you're wearing that is a little bit outside of your comfort zone can really ground you. I know back in like middle school, high school, I would always wear this anchor necklace. No matter how my style changed, she was there, and I really felt like, oh my god, I really felt like that anchored me. Guess what? It wasn't an anchor, it was a wheel, so scratch all of that. Let's say throughout your whole life, you've always worn a headband. People know you for wearing a headband, and you still want to wear a headband, but you can take that signature look of you and keep it in your modern day outfits, maybe with your own twist. A little signature like that that's so you, I think will really help keep you confident in standing in your own personal style and identity. So you could move from the preppy headband to this headband. Just look for like little iterations like that can help you make the leap, I guess. And that's all I can think of right now. I think everybody has their own journey. Some of you may need to move at a slower pace, some of you can expedite and skip a few steps. I've made a couple videos regarding styling, personal styling, body type, all that. If you want to check out, I'll link the playlist at the end of this video. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next week, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok until then. Bye!